You're watching the Merged Marketing Podcast. You're listening to the Merged Marketing Podcast, and this is episode 138. And my guest today is Ross Gray. Ross is a co-founder and COO of Cloud Campaign, a social media management platform for agencies. Ross, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
I was quite shocked prior to going live. Ross filled me in and told me he's living right now, residing in Beaverton, Oregon. Did I pronounce that right? Oregon or Oregon?
Beaverton, it's Oregon. It's as far as I know, I'm not native, but Beaverton, the only thing we're really known for is the Nike World headquarters is here, which is kind of exciting.
Okay. Got you. Now, what brought you down? Because you said you're from originally Alberta.
So my family's from Alberta. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but my fiance works at Nike. And so when we first started, I ended up here. And then the team grew, and now I'm stuck out here in Beaverton, Oregon.
So your office, the office for Cloud Campaign, has dropped anchor in Beaverton?
Well, we're kind of co-headquartered, so most of our go-to-market is here we're in Portland for the most part, and then our other office, which is engineering and product and you name it, is out in Boulder, Colorado. They got the better weather out there.
Nice. Awesome. Well, maybe you could tell us a bit about Cloud Campaign, a little deeper dive into it. How long have you been around and the audience that you're serving?
Yeah. So we've been around for, I just want to say right around 5 years now, but really selling for about 3.5. It took a while to kind of figure out the go-to-market motion and make sure the product was right. But yeah, so we're a digital marketing platform. We really do mainly work with marketing agencies. We work with about 1,500 marketing agencies now that manage over 18,000 brands through our system. And then, it's everything from being able to create content, collaborate with their clients, schedule it out, handle an entire approval process, and then, of course, report back on their efforts.
Yeah, full transparency. Us here at Merged Media recently acquired a social media agency that was using Cloud Campaign, which is how Ross and myself got connected. But our team right now is loving the platform, the ease of using the platform, and the clients seem to like it as well. What are some of the big features that separate your platform from the others?
Yeah, look, I appreciate the question here. So I think we really do a great job at solving all the little idiosyncratic needs that marketing agencies have, which often revolve around, how to automate things. So one thing we did a big analysis of our customer base. We figured out that about 20% of a social media manager's time was actually spent scheduling content. And our goal was to get that to 0. And so we built features in the system to do it. The other thing is, in the marketing space, there generally is pretty high turnover for marketing agencies and their clients. And so we've tried to help solve that. And one of the big things that we do is increase transparency. So approval processes, being able to add clients in, white label the product. And again, all for trying to help with that retention component for agencies.
I think that is super important that you're addressing that, because owning a social media agency prior to merging with an SEO company, we've built a lot of content. We've pushed a lot of content. We've worked with probably thousands of clients, and obviously not retained a lot of them. And naturally, that seems to be the life cycle of social media management is, posting content for a period of time. And then, a client might not see those results. So they maybe, throw their money at another endeavor. Could be SEO, could be print advertising or whatnot. What are some of those big friction points that you find? There are a lot of agencies are losing those opportunities with clients, and maybe you can dive a little deeper into how you address those pain points with Cloud Campaign.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, taking a step back, I think knowing how to properly pitch, especially why is organic social media management important to clients, and expectation setting with them is incredibly important. I think a lot of people, they expect, hey, if I hire an agency to schedule, a handful of organic posts, I should see this massive increase in sales or in follower count. And that's just not the reality. If you look now, I think it's about 5% of your audience will see anything you post organically, and that's blended across the social channels. The reality is they want you to spend money. I've read that they're trying to increase that, but that's still the reality. So I think for agencies, they really need to understand the value of organic social media and make sure that they're upfront with their clients about it. So, talking a bit to that about 10 years ago, when I was going through college, I mean, everybody said your website was your first point of contact with your potential consumer. That's going to be how they learn about you. And now there's been this huge macro shift to where it's often not your website that's your first point of contact. It's your social media channels. The latest stat that I read was up to 70% of people now, before they buy from you or use your services, they actually look you up on social media. And so if you aren't, active on social media, it just kind of looks like you have a dead brand. People might, they do equate that to less trust. And so that's why organic social media is so important. It builds trust, and you already have a built-in audience that you can continue to drip on. But also, as new consumers are looking for you, you got to look like you're actually, out in the marketplace, still active.
I'm so glad you brought up that point, because a lot of people are like, well, social media organic is dead. Well, okay, people were saying that in 2018-19 when Facebook and Instagram cut off a lot of that organic reach. You got, like you said, you got to invest for success now. But if you're spending any sort of a budget on those platforms, there's a good chance that a lot of people are going to be hitting that icon to go over to your page for further credibility for your business and understand your business a bit better. So if your last post was back in 2019, well, people are going to be questioning the legitimacy of your business, right? And I think you hit on a great point there, Ross, that people still do need to create that consistent content, even if you are reaching 5% of your audience.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, that's completely correct. It's really doing paid with organic is the best way to actually get success out of your campaigns. If you haven't posted in 5 years, again, they'll hit your page, especially if that's where you're advertising, and think, okay, I don't trust this company. I don't know them. And to that point, one shift that we've seen now is, and we talked to Facebook about this, their job now is to protect the feed, is what they say. So you still have a lot of companies are very apparently ads. And Facebook will actually make you pay more for those if you don't have an active audience that's going to like them and boost the engagement on those ads that you're running. I know for us, we actually don't hide our current audience from ads that we run, because our current audience will go in and they'll like it and they'll comment on it, which boosts our engagement. And another part of that is pushing out content that looks like maybe your friend posted it. It shows up naturally on your feed and will actually get better engagement.
So many people are so fixated on having that perfect piece of video content, hiring a production team for thousands of dollars to come into their office to interview them with that high quality content. A lot of times you're doing yourself a disservice, because that content looks like an ad, and people can sniff an ad out a mile away now. And it's almost like you said, Ross, it's like even just holding up your phone and recording a short video with the same type of content you put in that high production video, but it blends into the feed that much easier. And the goal is to get people to stop from scrolling. And essentially that's what that content does.
Exactly right. Our best performing ad ever, and apologies to our new head of marketing if I'm incorrect on this, but at least to a certain point, our best performing content ever was literally just a picture of our team sitting on some steps that we took at one of our, small company retreat. There were some pumpkins, and we just pushed it online, and, just a picture of our team, real people that are behind the company. And we had a ton of people respond positively to that. I think, again, you give a little more personality to the brand.
100%. Here's an interesting stat that was launched on June 1st. More than half of the world now uses social media, 58.4%. 4.62 billion people around the world now use social media, and 424 million new users have come online within the last 12 months. And the average daily time spent using social media is 2 hours and 27 minutes. So it's just a whole lot of attention, and the attention is still on the likes of Facebook and Instagram. Even in Q1 2022, Facebook increased their monthly active users by 3%. Still, and a lot of people have been like, wow, that's crazy. I thought Facebook was falling off, but it's not. And, what are some of the platforms, Ross, where people should really focus on in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and it's ever changing, and I think a little bit does depend on what your brand is. I mean, there are some brands that you're just going to get better results on LinkedIn, especially if you're probably a bit further up market. Facebook and Instagram are, of course, just kind of ever present and incredibly important. Organic reach is much easier to achieve, at least from what I've seen on Instagram. One of the realities is, though, you don't really know where people are going to look you up. And so one of the conversations that we often have is, if you're not active on a social channel, you're better off just removing that account, because if that's where a potential customer goes to look you up and you have an old Twitter account that you haven't touched in 5 years, but with tools like ours, or a lot of the other ones in the space now, you can easily be active across pretty much all of the social additional effort. So I would encourage people to use a platform where it's easy to syndicate content across them. You can't ignore TikTok at this point either. I mean, as fast as that platform's been growing, we just got back from Social Media Marketing World a couple months ago, and that's all the talk now. And I can tell you, every day we're getting requests for it. We're actually going to be launching on Thursday, just because it's been so commonly requested at this point. You're seeing a lot of businesses move over to TikTok now.
So nice. So by the time this episode launches, you're going to be full throttle with TikTok content creation within the Cloud Campaign platform.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It just became impossible to ignore. We kind of did for a while, and then probably the number one requested feature at this point.
So what do you find the platforms are being most leveraged within Cloud Campaign amongst agencies? Obviously, the Facebook and Instagram. Maybe talk a little about those platforms that you cater to.
Yeah. So, I mean, we publish to, oh gosh, I'm definitely going to miss one here, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, and Google My Business starting Thursday. So 2 days from now, it's June 21st. It will be with TikTok as well. So we do publish to pretty much everywhere. And then again, depending on industries, we see people shift their focus, but without fail, everybody at least is on Facebook. I do feel like that's kind of the main platform at this point.
So glad to hear that GMB is also added to that list as well. I mean, as we're an SEO company as well, and we do a lot of posting to GMB because we want to look good in the eyes of Google. So we're going to be posting on that Google My Business. Now, is it have you been getting those requests from a lot of other businesses to post there? Was that a difficult integration to add?
Oh, did I get you back?
Did you find a lot of other agencies, Ross, were requesting GMB posting?
Sorry, I think I lost you there for a few seconds. Having some, it looks like, fun internet issues here,
No
but I did get the question. So yeah, GMB is right up there with one of the most popular platforms. I think, to your point, I guess now, what is it? Google Business Profile is the new name of it. Absolutely, it's becoming just about as important as anything else. And I don't totally know all of the SEO implications. You could probably answer that a bit better than I would, but I'm sure they're important considering how many people are moving to it.
100%. I mean, when you're talking local, right? We will leverage GMB for a lot of local SEO, local business SEO. When we want to get a business ranked in the map pack, we'll post that GMB on a regular basis to try to give further authority and credibility to the business in the eyes of Google. And the fact that we can simply do that now from a platform like Cloud Campaign just makes our life as an agency that much easier and seamless to post there. So I'm glad you added that to your ensemble of platforms that you're posting to.
Yeah, no, that's great to know.
Yeah. Do you have any other platforms that you have your eyes set on for adding in the future? Do you see any other emerging platforms?
Oh gosh, it's a great question. We're constantly monitoring these things. At this point, I don't think so. We have push notifications for some obscure platforms. Like every now and then, you'll get a, "Hey, can we publish on Reddit?" or something like that. So we set up push notifications for all of it. But as far as direct integration, at this point in time, probably not. I mean, I think everything's always changing with Snapchat, so maybe that could end up being on the radar in the not too distant future. But for right now, it's going to be TikTok.
Another emerging platform that I noticed coming out that I recently joined. Not sure if you heard of it. BeReal.
I haven't heard of BeReal.
Yeah, BeReal is like a new platform. BERE.AL, I believe it is. And like I said, I just got on it a couple weeks ago. But the idea behind BeReal is, it'll prompt you with a notification on when to post, and you have 2 minutes to post. So aside from a lot of those platforms out there that are doing all this intense filtering and editing, this is quite the opposite. It's trying to make the platform or social media very authentic. So naturally you'll get prompted, and you'll as you're scrolling through your feed, like any other feed, you'll just see content, but you'll see just strange and obscure content of
Hmm.
people sitting there watching TV or sitting there with their dog, and it's just you're taking a picture in the moment within that 2-minute time slot, and it literally gives you a countdown when you open up the app.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting. It definitely is a flip on obviously, the Instagrams and Facebooks and TikToks of the world, but I'm still not sure if it's going to be a fad or not, because I've posted pretty much every single day since I launched the app, but I just don't know if that user base is gonna follow suit. But with that being said, is there any? Do you see any other platforms out there that you've heard of that might be emerging or around the bend? You did mention Snapchat. I mean, that's been around for a while, but I find that's kind of hit a bit of a graveyard.
Some of these come and go. Did you ever get onto Clubhouse?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So we, made a big attempt on that one, and that fell pretty flat. We didn't try to integrate it into the system, but we're like, maybe we should try and build a Clubhouse for our company, and did a handful of them. And then at one point, I think 2 people showed up, and we just decided that maybe not the platform for us. But I think just because the dev resources involved, we tend to wait to see how things flush out with these new systems as they come and go. And nothing on the horizon right now, but probably a better question for our head of product.
Yeah, no, the funny thing about Clubhouse, it was hot for a minute, right? Like when the pandemic was going on, you couldn't connect with people. It was a great way to connect. And, the way they launched the product, I thought was brilliant. You know what I mean? You can only join Clubhouse by invitation
Yeah.
only for a period of time, which was really cool because it made it exclusive. And I think other platforms should take note of an approach like that. I think that was a super cool way to kind of branch out. Now, that kind of eludes me to my next question. So with Cloud Campaign, how did you grow? What were some of the big tactics that you guys leveraged or utilized to get to the point where you are today?
Yeah, when we first started trying to sell the system, I had actually started. I started a video production company when I was in college, and we ended up doing some decent sized commercials for some big companies, and it was basically all cold outreach. I had no money for any type of marketing at that point, so just cold outreach. And so when we were starting to sell Cloud Campaign, that was kind of my thought is, oh, I can sell this. I can it's a couple $100 a month. That's much easier than a commercial. I'll just do cold outreach. And 8 months of that incredibly fun cold calling mixed with ads here and there. We didn't sell almost anything. I mean, it was maybe 2 or 3 accounts in that entire time frame. I mean, it was really pretty painful. And it got to the point where I looked at my business partner, Ryan, he's the co-founder here, my co-founder here, and we came to a conclusion that if we couldn't figure this out within the next month, both of us were kind of out of money, and we were going to have to close the doors on the business. And I remember that night I looked at him and I said, could we do white labeling at scale? And he said, yeah. So something I tested and I hadn't really tried before was lead gen ads. And so instead of just pushing people right into, hey, buy the product, we said, take a demo with us, you sign up, and we'll give you free white labeling at that point. And went to bed, woke up in the morning, and we had more leads than we knew what to do with. And we started calling the leads and then started converting off of them. It turned out it was a lot easier than just sending people to a landing page without any real context and hoping that they would convert. So that was how we initially got revenue into the company, and then actually scaled to almost our first at least $1 million in recurring revenue from just pretty much lead gen ads. And then obviously a lot has changed over the years since then, but that's how we got it off the ground.
That's amazing. And I know exactly what you mean with lead gen ads. We're running them right now as we speak. It's Facebook likes it better too. Facebook doesn't want people to leave the platform, right? So when you optimize for traffic, you're telling Facebook to target people that have a tendency to leave Facebook. You want to keep people on Facebook, capture that information, make it as easy and frictionless as possible, get that lead. And then like Ross said, you can either give them a call, have that call, and if there's a freebie involved, that's even better, or some sort of a lead magnet. And then I'm sure you had some sort of a nurture sequence set up as well.
Oh yeah. So we set up, we use HubSpot, and we had a full sequence. If you read the studies, one of the important things is contacting a lead almost immediately. I think Harvard did a study on this a couple years back, and every almost like 10-minute increment that goes by from when somebody submits their information to when you get to them, your chances of actually getting a hold of that person go down exponentially. And so having some type of automations in place, or just trying to get a hold of them as soon as possible, became more and more important.
Speed to lead, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So important, so important. And it just a lot of times, especially with Facebook leads, people don't remember or recall opting into a Facebook ad. If you call them like next day or 2 days later, they're like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, yeah, you. Okay. Unless that ad is like super memorable, there's a good chance they're going to forget about you.
Oh
And you
yeah.
have to remind them on that call. And then it kind of feels like a cold call at that point, and not a warm call.
Oh,
Right.
totally. Half our conversations are, oh, clicking on that.
Definitely.
Oop.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Ross, I mean, right now, here we are in the middle of 2022. Are you guys still doing the same tactics you were doing back then to scale to $1 million? Are you guys still doing
Um,
lead gen?
we still, but we've gotten considerably more advanced as we've brought people on that are a bit more seasoned and know what they're doing a bit better than I did back then. So yeah, now we're kind of omni-channel. We're actually running Google ads, all different types of ads at this point, and doing better email drip campaigns, and you name it.
Awesome. Awesome. This has been great, Ross. Love diving into this topic. If our audience has any questions for you, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, welcome to email me. My email is the letter R and then GRAY at cloudcampaign.com. So it's rgray at cloudcampaign.com. And if they want to check out our website, it's just cloudcampaign.com.
And if you want to capture any show notes from this episode or Ross's contact information, go over to merged.ca/podcast/138. And Ross, we end every episode with the same question. That question is this: if you can choose one person, dead or alive, to represent Cloud Campaign, who would it be and why?
Oh man, dead or alive. So just any throughout history, anybody.
Who's the brand ambassador for Cloud Campaign?
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm gonna go with I'm gonna do a cop out here. I'm gonna choose. We have two. It's gonna be my dog Milo and my business partner's dog named Benny. And
Nice.
they have been our mascots since basically day one, and lived in a basement with us when we were starting this thing. So I'm gonna go with them.
They've been with you for the ups and downs, I'm sure of
Yeah.
it. That's
Yep.
awesome. Cool. I haven't had in 138 episodes. Nobody's listed a pet yet. So
Okay.
that's good
Well,
too.
good. We're
There we
first.
go. Awesome. Ross, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Cool. You too. Thanks so much.